All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jaron Boots Ennis being said to be better than Floyd Money Mayweather by a prominent trainer. Some people are not going to like what he has to say. However, he may just be right. Got to listen to how he said it. Now, let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We are back talking about another boxing topic. Thank y'all so much for showing up today. This one is going to be a very fun one for me because it involves two of my favorite fighters. One is a retired fighter in Floyd Money Mayweather, formerly known as Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, and a up-and-coming contender out of the great state of Pennsylvania, the city of Philadelphia, brotherly love, Jaron Boots Ennis, and what Malik Scott, the trainer of Deontay Wilder, had to say. And I'm telling you, man, I like what he had to say, and what he's saying may very well be true. Whole bunch of y'all ain't gonna like it, but it is what it is. Now, before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your support. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. So let's get into this. Some people are not gonna like this, but I do. And I don't think it is much of an exaggeration or really too far out of sorts, except for in a couple ways, and I'll let you know what that is. So Malik Scott, who is a former heavyweight, maybe a current heavyweight fighter. I think it was not too long ago he had a fight, but is a trainer for Deontay Wilder ever since Deontay Wilder let go of Mark Breland in that infamous kerfuffle that took place after Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury 2. That's who you should know. Him from, Malik Scott from. He also fought Deontay Wilder and was knocked out, earlier in Deontay Wilder's career. He made a comparison between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Jaron Ennis. And basically what he said was that Jaron Ennis is better than Floyd Money Mayweather. And then he furthered that on and went a little bit further and said, and he reminds me of Pretty Boy Floyd. And when I heard that, I was like, man, that is about dead on. And let me explain for people that are a little bit more novice what that means. Obviously, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is one of the best fighters, probably the best fighter this century, one of the best fighters that I've seen in my lifetime. Not going to say he's the best, right? He's definitely the biggest, right? Aside from Muhammad Ali. But, Muhammad Ali was 1960s, 1970s. Of this century and pretty much since Muhammad Ali, he's the biggest name, most successful boxer. Won championships in multiple divisions, beat 15 reigning world champions, 26 current or former world champions, but 15 reigning world champions. And I can't say of anybody else that I've known that has done that. Not making that better than a heavyweight, because heavyweights fight in one weight class and everybody can go get that smoke. But that is a conversation for another time. Now, Floyd Mayweather Jr. had two phases of his career. One was Pretty Boy Floyd, and that was when he was with Top Rank, when he was fighting at 130 pounds, 135 pounds, I think maybe up into the 140 pounds. But once Floyd Mayweather Jr. became a household name, and once he got that fight with Arturo Gatti, which was his first pay-per-view, which led to him getting a major pay-per-view fight against Oscar De La Hoya, once he became Oscar De La Hoya and he started the Money Team and all of that stuff, he changed his alias from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, right? So when in short, what Malik Scott is doing is he is comparing the early stage of Floyd Mayweather Jr. to the later stage of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and looking at Jaron Ennis when Jaron Ennis is in the early stages of his career and saying, look, this is how good this is how good Jaron Ennis is. Jaron Ennis reminds me of Pretty Boy Floyd, and he's better than Money Mayweather. Now, Money Mayweather was fighting at 147, beat Canelo Alvarez at 154, won a lot of very good fights, but he was fighting in a weight class that was higher than where he started. And also, it was in the later half of his career where he kind of slowed down. He wasn't as aggressive. His hand speed wasn't what it was at 130. And for people that doubt what Malik Scott is saying, go and look at the fights with Jaron Hernandez. Go look at the fight, specifically go look at that fight with Diego Corrales and with Arturo Gatti, and you will see what I mean, man, and what he means and what I agree with him on. And Floyd said the same thing, because like when Floyd talks about his best, when he has said it himself, he's like, look, when he's talking about Canelo, he's like, man, I beat Canelo at 154 pounds, and really, I'm not even a welterweight. I'm really a 130 pounder, and honestly, I started at 126 pounds. I'm not that big a guy. He's not a natural welterweight, right? So when you look at Jaron Ennis, and this is something that I do believe is very true, he is very comparable to that early version of Floyd Mayweather Jr., man, where this guy is absolutely, first of all, he's extremely, extremely skilled. He's extremely explosive. He is very, very, very well schooled and has all the talent and the reflexes in the world at the weight class that he is currently in, at the age that he's at, which is about, I think he's 24, maybe just turning 25. Very similar for me to when I would look back, when I remember first watching Floyd Mayweather Jr. Because when Floyd Mayweather Jr. came out, originally he was one of the Mayweather, he was from the Mayweather clan, right? You had the three Mayweather brothers, Roger, Floyd, and Jeff Mayweather, who are all, world-class fighters. And there was the amateur bronze medalist who got robbed in the Olympic gold medal, Floyd, who was coming up behind him, right? But when you saw him fight, like, oh man, this dude is really, really something extra, really, really something special. And that's the same general feeling that I get off of Jaron Ennis at this stage in his career, where you're watching him, and yeah, you're watching him against guys that are not super top level fighters, right? But you still see the huge separation in talent between him and the people that he's fighting, right? And I don't think it's too far off to compare, even though, Jaron Ennis has not gotten a shot at a championship as early as Floyd Mayweather Jr. did. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Floyd was with Top Rank, and Top Rank tends to get those guys shots at, when they're ready, those belts are available over there at Top Rank, where Jaron is in a situation where the top guys at welterweight, are taking up all the belts, and there really are no belts for him to fight for right now. But if you look at how he looked with, Jaron Hernandez, or he looked like with Justin Juco or Angel Manfredi, those early fights, and you look at what Jaron looked like with Custio Clayton and Thomas Delorme and Sergey Lipinets, I think it's really, really it's a very, very fair comparison. Now, will I say that Jaron Ennis is better? I'm not going to say that, because, that has to pan out. And, there's a lot of guys that really did start off very, very well, look great in the beginning of their career, but, it didn't pan out for them for either loss of focus or just, something unfortunate happening. And so we'll see what happens with Jaron Ennis, but I'm telling you, I don't think that comparison is really too far off the map. When you compare like a young Jaron Ennis to an older Floyd, I wouldn't say that Jaron would beat Floyd as an older fighter, because Floyd has so much more experience, a lot of know-how that, Jaron Ennis is going to have to catch up on. But as far as the explosive, the power, the size, and all that, man, this kid is a different breed. But anyway, you let me know what you think in that comment section. Greatly appreciate you watching the videos. And with that, I'm out. Peace.